I'd like to start the discussion with Ron. Ron and I had some conversation offline about the partnership, and he mentioned first. And I really thought that was an interesting way of looking at the partnership, the uniqueness about it and first. So I thought it would be a great way to start the discussion by having Ron expand on what he meant by first and why this partnership has been successful to this point.
Thank you, Stephanie. You guys may have heard, it's been in the paper a little bit. We have an investment that we're making on the east side of Detroit. We're building a new manufacturing facility. It's a $2.5 billion investment on the east side. It's the creation of almost 5,000 new jobs. And the first time that we are aware of in the history of this city, and I've done some research in the history I can find in the United States, we are going to prioritize Detroiters in the hiring. Prioritize Detroiters in the hiring. So what that means is, in our hiring process, usually when you apply first, you are first crack at getting into the jobs. This time we're allowing Detroiters to apply first. There's an entire month that we allow Detroiters to apply first. So the first in terms of application, the first hired. So it's really a novel approach, if you will, to workforce development because we have other investments that are going to support our hiring. So we're making investments, for instance, in the public school system. We're working with Southeastern High School to do an advanced manufacturing program. We're working with Wayne County Community College to do a mechatronics program. We are doing things with K through 8s in the area, so we are trying to create a pathway, if you will, in education that leads to a career in advanced manufacturing. In addition, we are looking at minority contractors and trying to make sure we have as many minority contractors that are working on this investment as possible. We have a matchmaker event that we do every year. It's pretty much benchmarking industry where we match minority contractors with tier 1 suppliers as well as executives at FCA, buyers and things like that, to come out and establish relationships that can result in significant business for minority contractors. We are doing some things that we hope that create stability, if you will, and kind of help people to take their lives from where they are to somewhere else through the opportunity for employment, through the opportunities in education, through the opportunities in minority contracting, and we're very excited about this project. Now, we also have some partners that we're working with. We have partnerships at the state of Michigan with the MEDC, been working closely with them, with the city of Detroit through the mayor's office, as well as city council, and as well as DEGC. And so we also have hiring events that we hold throughout the city with partners such as Sir Metro, and Veronica is going to speak about that. But we had 400 job readiness events throughout the city of Detroit so that Detroiters can come in and apply for jobs, for the new jobs. 400. Now, what's exciting is that we started a second round of job readiness events last Saturday. There's 16 events throughout the city, 16 a day throughout the city until mid-March. So if a Detroiter wants an opportunity to work at FCA, to get a job, the opportunity is there. So that we're doing everything we can to reduce barriers, to get people in the city of Detroit to apply for jobs and have employment opportunities if they want them.
Thank you so much, Ron. Now, Veronica, you've got a number of years' experience in workforce. How do you feel that this relationship and this partnership, the success of it, will impact how we service businesses and job seekers in our career centers going forward?
Yes, well, I've been in this industry for 20 years, if you can believe that. And I think this is one of the most comprehensive approaches, really, to try to engage Detroiters, not only to hire them, but to prepare them. I think that is one of the biggest differences, is that we're truly trying to prepare Detroiters for this opportunity, to give them the best chance possible. And not only is FCA engaging with the public workforce development system, but they're also engaging with nonprofit organizations. I mean, we got a call from FCA wanting to make sure that as a nonprofit, community-based organization, that we knew about the opportunities that our community knows. So we want to make sure that the community was connected to whatever is going on in all the career centers, at the churches that are happening, with the workshops that are happening, with the events. And so I think this is really an opportunity to create a model, right? To create a model, to engage large organizations like SARE, huge corporations like FCA, to bring in the community, to make sure we're preparing them. I think that is, I can't emphasize this more than ever, preparing our community for these types of jobs.
Right. Being the public workforce agency for the city of Detroit is our priority is for Detroiters, to make sure Detroiters benefit from the economic upturn in the city. Ron, can you share on behalf of FCA why it was important to ensure that Detroiters had first opportunity?
Yeah. So the investment itself created a great opportunity, as you mentioned, for us to really form a partnership with this city, give back to the city and its residents in a way we hadn't done before. So we're excited about it because we're all hands on deck at the company. Our leadership is really looking for ways to expand upon what we're doing in terms of our community benefits. But how can we work with local schools? How can we work with churches? How can we work with community groups? How can we work with the party store down the street? What things can we do to establish working relationships in this community so that as we expand in the community, we really become a partner or a resident within that community. So, for instance, I mentioned that we're prioritizing Detroiters. Also, in that prioritization, we're looking at things like returning citizens and programs that will allow returning citizens to be able to have gainful employment and also to help to stabilize their lives and their families. And we know that some of those citizens, for instance, are some of our best workers in terms of their dedication, in terms of their maturity level, and their commitment to wanting to do a good job each day. We're also prioritizing veterans within our hiring process. So we have several strategies to address what, I guess, historically, to some extent, have been underserved or underrepresented populations within the workforce. We want to make sure that as we invest in this community, that as we build this plant, that we allow for Detroiters, whatever their background be, a returning citizen, a veteran, or whatever it is, that they have a full opportunity. And we are willing to support through programs, through trainings, whatever they need to reduce the barriers to gainful employment.
Thank you so much. Veronica, did you want to?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on what Ron said, because I think part of the success is the commitment from FCA, but the fact that also through the career centers and the supportive services that we able to provide, we are able to connect community to career coaching, to career planning, to remove their barriers, to retention, to make sure that when they get on the job, that they have services and someone to talk to help them through that period. So I think that's going to be a really important factor, is the support on both, the public workforce side and FCA to make this a successful venture.
What's really been excited is about the citizens of Detroit really realizing there's an opportunity. Can you talk about some of the energy that you guys have observed in these community events and during the application process? And either one of you can jump in, because I know you've both been exposed to.
So yes, I've been out of the centers where there are lines out the door. Right. And it's really exciting. Everyone's really excited about the opportunity. We are also partners at the Samaritan Center on the east side. We're part owners, and we just see the excitement and people are ready to go to work, and they're ready for this opportunity, and they come in, they fill out the application, they want to fill it twice, they want to do it multiple times, they come to multiple workshops because they feel that that's going to give them hopefully an edge. They want to come to the interviewing workshops, they want to learn how to be the best candidate for your position. So I've seen it firsthand.
No, that's exactly right. So these hiring events is almost like nothing you've ever seen before. Because the DESC does a great job in getting enthusiasm within the room, almost like cheerleaders to some extent. And so, I could be at a car wash in the city or something, and I'm driving my truck, and people say, "Hey, it's a nice truck," blah 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 blah, and they find out I work for FCA, and once they find out, they want to know how can they get a job at the new plant. And so, to start that process, you go to the website DetroitAtWork.com, DetroitAtWork.com. So you can tell people who may approach you know anything about the jobs at FCA, that's the website where you start to register. And so there's tremendous excitement. I'm very gratified as a Detroiter, as a resident of the city, when people come to me and ask me, and I'm able to give them an answer about real opportunities that are happening.
And speaking of the application process, a person applies, it doesn't work out for them the first go round. Do they have a second opportunity to apply, and what does that look like?
Yes, they do. And actually, as Ron mentioned, we are having workshops and sessions again at the career centers. But even if that doesn't work out, I think what is really exciting is that FCA is creating a momentum, right? They're going to have suppliers coming in, other subsidiaries coming in that they can potentially apply for. So there's opportunity, even if they, for some reason, can't get into FCA, there's opportunity for anyone walking through the centers.
Yeah, and just to expound on that point, that's exactly right, because when you build a manufacturing facility such as this one, the supply chain is even greater that feeds into the plant, if you will. So there's opportunities in the supply chain for employment, but what that also means is that economic opportunity, economic activity related to the plant is greater as well. So we have any number of suppliers that are wanting to locate within the city of Detroit, close to the manufacturing facility itself, because timing is important when you make vehicles. So what it really means for the city of Detroit is not just this $2.5 billion investment, but also ancillary investment that goes to supply the plant and the jobs that are available for that.
Absolutely. Well, as we prepare to wrap up, I want to ask both of you if you could note one thing that you want this group to leave with, to remember from this discussion, what would that be?
I think it's just what we can do together, right? What private and public sector partnerships can do to help the citizens of the city of Detroit. And this is, like I said, the model that we need to use going forward. And so we hope that even this conference kind of generates hopefully more of this opportunity.
I'd like to add, to kind of pick up on that point too, because I think the biggest takeaway for me, and I hope this audience takes away, is that Detroiters want to work. Mm-hmm. Detroiters want to work. Not only do they want to work, but they want to work where they live, and they want to support this city. And corporations such as ours, FCA, and I'm sure others in the room, want to support the city and the residents that live here. So the issue is how do we bring the two together, as Veronica picked up on? How do we bring those two together? How do we have that communication? How do we have that shared value? And how does that result in greater economic activity as well as jobs for residents of the city?
Thanks, guys. Well, I would like to thank you both for this groundbreaking engagement, this dynamic discussion, and we're really looking forward to seeing and tracking the impact, the economic impact, and particularly on Detroiters as we move forward with this great partnership. So thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.